Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Here's why Asher does not appear in Chicago Med Season 10 Episode 16. Chicago Med returned from a 2-week break on March 26, with the show's 16th episode of Season 10, but there was one particular member of the Gaffney Chicago Medical Center team missing in action within the episode, Dr. Hannah Asher. Jesse Schramm does not appear in Episode 16, Poster Boy, with Asher missing out on the action, and what's even more frustrating is that the show didn't really even give us a direct answer as to why Asher wasn't in the episode. There was no quick throwaway line to explain why she wasn't in the episode, something that seems like a miss given they could have easily explained that Asher was taking some personal time following Ripley's near-death ordeal. It would have been more than understandable for Asher to take a bit of time off after the events of Episode 15. Instead, no direct explanation was provided as to where Asher was within the episode, with fans left to just assume her absence was due to her taking a day off. This is a similar approach to what we saw just a few episodes back when Dr. Charles was randomly MIA in an episode, his absence also coming without any explanation within the episode. It's surprising that Chicago Med hasn't been as direct as its sister series Chicago Fire and Chicago PD in explaining why characters don't appear. Chicago Fire, in particular, is great for offering up quick explanations as to where characters are when they don't appear in an episode, be it they're out of town, taking a day off, on special assignment, or whatever task comes about to keep them off screen. The most likely reason Jesse Schramm did not appear in Chicago Med Season 10, Episode 16, Poster Boy, is simply because of budget restrictions. This is something that has plagued many shows, including the One Chicago shows, with writers having to work around not having every series regular around in each episode of the season. As TV productions continue to tighten their budgets, series regulars are no longer appearing in every single episode of the season. This is resulting in beloved characters missing the occasional episode within the season, and why we're seeing actors such as Jesse Schramm missing the occasional episode of Chicago Med. The good news is that in most instances, the One Chicago actors are only missing an episode or two, and we should be seeing Asher back soon. In fact, we know she'll be back in Episode 17, and it seems she'll be among the episode's central storylines, with the synopsis for the episode teasing that Hannah discovers a mass on a pregnant woman's ovary. At first, nobody really noticed. A shift at Gaffney Chicago Medical Center is a whirlwind of traumas, diagnoses, and the endless shuffle of doctors and nurses racing against time. It wasn't unusual for one of them to be pulled into a complex surgery, an off-site conference, or even a well-earned day off. But as the hours ticked by, a strange realization settled over the emergency department. Dr. Hannah Asher was nowhere to be found. It started with a casual comment from Dr. Charles. "Hannah's usually on at this hour, isn't she?" He had been looking over a patient's chart, half expecting her to pop up beside him with an insight he hadn't considered. When no one immediately answered, he shrugged it off, assuming she was assigned elsewhere. Then came a particularly difficult case. An expectant mother in distress, a situation tailor-made for Hannah's expertise. Dr. Marcel instinctively paged her, expecting her to burst through the double doors in her signature no-nonsense fashion, but the page went unanswered. The first ripple of concern started then. "Has anyone seen Asher?" Dr. Archer was the next to ask, his tone sharper than the others. He had his own reasons for keeping a watchful eye on Hannah: pride, professional investment, maybe even something he wouldn't admit. When a second page to her went ignored, his frown deepened. The nurses exchanged glances. She was on the schedule, Maggie Lockwood confirmed, tapping at her tablet. She clocked in this morning. So where is she now? Nobody had an answer. That's when the theory started. The rational explanations. At first, the simplest explanations were tossed around. Maybe she got caught up in a complicated case elsewhere in the hospital. Maybe she was assisting in the OR. Maybe, just maybe, she was finally taking a break. But none of those seemed right. For one, she wasn't responding to any pages. And two, her locker was untouched. Maggie checked. Hannah's coat still hung there, her personal belongings neatly stowed, untouched since she arrived that morning. It was as if she had simply vanished. The unraveling mystery. When an entire shift passed without a sign of her, the concern turned into something more urgent. Security was alerted. They checked the cameras. She had entered the hospital as expected at the start of her shift. But after that, nothing. No footage of her leaving, no record of her swiping her ID anywhere else in the building. It was Dr. Halstead who found the first real clue. He was heading toward the rooftop. Sometimes doctors went up there for a moment of peace, especially when the chaos of the ER became too much. But as he reached the door, he noticed something odd. A pager. Hannah's pager, sitting just beside the entrance to the rooftop, as if it had been placed there deliberately. A chill ran down his spine. The theories intensify. By now, the entire hospital was buzzing with speculation. Had she left voluntarily? Was she taken? Had something happened to her within the hospital walls? "I don't like this," Sharon Goodwin muttered, her usual composed demeanor shaken. Not one bit. Dr. Archer was pacing, jaw tight. She wouldn't just disappear. Not like this. Some whispered about her past struggles with addiction. Was this a relapse? Had she slipped away quietly, ashamed to let anyone see her struggling? But those who knew her best refused to believe that. She had fought too hard, worked too long to build her life back up. This wasn't that. Others considered the possibility of a personal emergency, an unexpected phone call, someone from her past needing her help. But wouldn't she have told someone? Then came the more unsettling possibilities. Had she been threatened, attacked? Had she stumbled upon someone she shouldn't have? Clues began to surface. It was Dr. Marcel who found the second clue. Hannah's clipboard was discovered in an unused patient room. The room itself had been empty all day, no scheduled procedures, no assigned patients. Yet there it was, her notes scrawled in familiar shorthand, ending abruptly mid-sentence. Like she had been interrupted. Like she had been taken. The unsettling conclusion. As the episode drew to a close, the tension reached its peak. Dr. Halstead, Dr. Archer, and Dr. Marcel stood in the ER, trying to make sense of it all. "She didn't just leave," Halstead said firmly. "Something happened." And just as the scene faded to black, a final chilling image. A lone hospital ID badge, discarded near the parking garage exit. Dr. Hannah Asher's. To be continued. This creative take sets up a suspenseful mystery regarding Hannah's absence, leaving plenty of room for future twists. Maybe she was kidnapped. Maybe she discovered something dangerous. Or maybe, just maybe, she'll return with a shocking revelation no one saw coming.